Hello everybody and welcome to the football betting series here on YouTube, Premier League edition. We're off to a pretty solid start in March, so let's quickly recap the games before getting into this week's picks. Starting off with Newcastle and Manchester City, we took Man City to win at the Etihad at about 1-2. £20 stake returned £9.40. Next up, Brighton West Ham, and Brighton managed to win by 4-0 against the Hammers. Our £20 stake returned 17. The one loss we had this week was Spurs. They failed to win away from home against Wolves. We thought it was more of a long shot, so we only lost our half stake of £10. And then on the Sunday afternoon, Liverpool, Manchester United over 2.5 goals. That game finished 7-0 to Liverpool, so we picked up £14.60. So across our four selections, we managed to pick up £31 and start off March with a 75% winning record in the Premiership. Without further ado, let's get into our selections for this weekend, coming up the 11th and 12th of March. We kick things off with 20th place Bournemouth hosting 5th place Liverpool, and despite Bournemouth opening the scoring after just 9 seconds against Arsenal, they did manage to lose the game by 3-2. Reece Nelson netting a winner in the 97th minute to keep the Gunners in the title race. For Bournemouth, this does mean back-to-back losses and no wins in their last 5 games, and only 1 win in their last 12 matches. In the Premiership, Bournemouth score 1 goal per game, which is in line with their 1.1 key chances created per 90. Defensively, they are averaging 2 goals against, with 5 clean sheets in their last 25 appearances. Liverpool are the visitors, and they come off a crushing victory against Manchester United by 7-0, 6 goals of which came in the second half. This does mean the Reds are now unbeaten in each of their last 5 domestic fixtures. And in the Premiership are scoring 1.9 goals per game from 3.2 key chances per 90, defensively conceding 1.1 goals against and 10 clean sheets in 25 matches. When we look at the head-to-head record, Liverpool have won each of the last 7 encounters against Bournemouth and are unbeaten in 8. This does include the 9-0 thrashing at the start of the season in late August. Additionally, Bournemouth have never managed a clean sheet against Liverpool in 14 competitive matches. Liverpool to win on the road in bet number 1. Our second game sees a couple of selections, so it's a bit of a longer one. 17th place Leeds host 8th place Brighton, and Leeds were bested by fellow struggling side Chelsea by 1-0. The side from Yorkshire have now recorded just a single win in their last 7 and scored a solitary goal in their last 5. In the Premier League, Leeds are scoring 1.2 goals per game and creating 1.8 key chances per 90, defensively conceding at a rate of 1.6 goals against with 5 clean sheets in their last 25 Premier League matches. Brighton are the visitors here today, and they're coming off their convincing 4-0 victory against West Ham. The Seagulls have managed to record back-to-back wins now since their defeat against Fulham in the league. Brighton are also scoring 1.9 goals per game with 3 key chances created per 90, defensively conceding 1.3 goals with 7 clean sheets in 23 matches. Looking at the head-to-head record, Brighton are unbeaten in each of the last 5 games against Leeds, so we may want to lean towards Brighton here, especially when we consider that Brighton have the 5th best away record in the division with 5 wins, 3 draws and 3 defeats. They're also unbeaten in each of their last 5 travels. Whereas Leeds, as the home side, their form puts them just above the relegation zone with 4 wins, 4 draws and 4 defeats, a bit of a mixture of results there. The first part of our double would be Brighton to win. However, thinking about the second part, we could see that goals are a bit of a premium here in recent weeks, starting with Leeds, who have recorded under 2.5 goals in each of their last 5 games, and they do have issues in finding the back of the net. Whereas Brighton have seen under 2.5 goals in 4 of their last 5 games, the obvious exception being the recent 4-0 win against West Ham. Also, when we look at the head-to-head record, 7 of the last 7 games have seen under 2.5 goals, including Brighton's 1-0 win against Leeds in late August. Our second selection here could see under 2.5 goals, but with these two things married up, we could be a bit conservative here. What I'm thinking for this game, instead of taking the goal line or taking Brighton to win, I'm going to be doing Brighton double chance and under 3.5 goals, combining these together to get odds of about 7/10 or 3-4. And we're going to be backing that for a full stake. Our third selection sees 14th place Crystal Palace hosting table-topping Manchester City. And Crystal Palace continued their torrid run of form by losing 1-0 against Aston Villa at the weekend. A game in which, aside from Zaha's goal that was chalked off, they were very much the second best side, failing to muster a single shot on target. This does mean that Crystal Palace have now recorded 10 games without a win in a row, This is a record dating back to their 2-0 win against Bournemouth in mid-December. Crystal Palace now hold the unenviable record of being the only Premiership side to have not won in the year 2023. The Eagles of South London score just 0.8 goals per game and create 1.2 key chances per 90. They do concede at a rate of 1.3 goals against, with 6 clean sheets in 25 games. Of course, this is now a horrible time to play Manchester City, who are coming off their 2-0 win against Newcastle, continuing a run of 3 straight wins, and they're unbeaten in each of their last 7 games. The Citizens are scoring 2.5 goals per game and creating 3.6 key chances per 90. Defensively conceding 1 goal per game with 9 clean sheets in 26 Premiership matches. When we look at the head-to-head record, Crystal Palace haven't actually done that badly against Manchester City in recent seasons, but I feel this form is, it's gone right out the window. Palace are struggling right now, and Manchester City have a free midweek to rest and prepare for this fixture, and I think even away from home, we're in for a bit of a demolition job. The only question is, how do we get value from this game? That Manchester City at about 4/10 is good value and a nice 40% return on investment. I'm going to try and get a little bit more value from this game and dabble with the Asian handicap market. You can get Manchester City at -1 at 1.55 or -1.5 at 1.95. City to win by 2 clear goals seems very doable, and this is where I'm going to lean. We're going to do a full stake on Man City -1.5 on the Asian handicap line. Our fourth and final selection in today's episode sees 16th place West Ham playing host to 11th placed Aston Villa. As touched upon, West Ham were bested by Brighton by 4-0, a game in which Moyes' troops really didn't put up a fight. This does mean there are now back-to-back losses for the Irons and just 1 win in their last 6 competitive matches. The Hammers are scoring 0.9 goals per game from 1.4 key chances per 90, conceding at a rate of 1.3 against, 5 clean sheets in 25 Premier League matches. Aston Villa are the visitors today, coming off their 1-0 win against Crystal Palace. This does mean that the Villains have recorded back-to-back wins and back-to-back clean sheets now, following a rough spell earlier in February. Aston Villa score 1.2 goals per game from 1.6 key chances per 90. Defensively, they do concede at 1.5 goals against, but have managed 7 clean sheets in their 25 matches. When we look at the head-to-head record, West Ham United have won each of the last 5 games and are unbeaten in each of their last 10 against Aston Villa. So we're leaning West Ham, right? Well, these sides have very much contrasting forms in recent weeks, so it's not quite that simple. Also, looking at the home and away records, we would probably lean towards Aston Villa, who have the 8th best record on the road, with 4 wins in their last 5 away journeys. The only exception here being a 3-1 loss to Manchester City at the Etihad. Meanwhile, West Ham have only won 2 of their last 5 home games in recent weeks, and they do have the distraction of the Conference League in the middle of the week. This is West Ham's only realistic shot of getting into Europe next season, so there could be quite a lot of fatigue for the first-team squad here. I think it's probably sensible to lay West Ham, as they do have poor form against a side who are confident coming into the match, and they have no realistic way of being dragged into a relegation battle. They also don't have to rotate and have no midweek fixtures. We're going to lay West Ham for a full stake in our final selection. I think that's going to do it for today's episode. We've got 4 selections, starting off with Bournemouth against Liverpool. We're taking the away side to win. Odds of 0.45, £20 stake to return 9. Then we move on to the 3 o'clock kickoffs. We're going to be saying Brighton double chance and under 3.5 goals against Leeds. Odds of 0.67, £20 stake to return 13.40. For the late kickoff on the Saturday, Manchester City to win by 2 clear goals, -1.5 on the Asian handicap. Almost even money, £20 stake to return 18.80. And then 2 o'clock on the Sunday, West Ham versus Aston Villa. We're going to be laying West Ham, so Aston Villa to win or a draw will get us paid. Odds of 3/4, £20 stake to return 15. So across the weekend, we're going to be risking £80 across our 4 bets to hopefully pick up as much as 56.20. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune in to next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.